Or Scrag, niche lord that buffs a unit type that's not very good. He definitely exists, but he's here. He's immune to contact effects, which I don't remember, to be honest. And yeah, I guess he technically has like anti-infantry and more mass than Slaughtermaster, but anyway, this build today brought to you by Galrush via Discord. He is obviously playing the Ogres into Khorne. We get to see this matchup once more as the Lead Belchers start to unload on the Khorne Gores. We've got Noblars plus Pigback Riders plus Trappers with a couple of Golgs Man-Eaters and some Saber-Tusk pack over on the side. Interesting not to take the Vultures. They're pretty much just better, I think. But anyway, yeah, Thunder Tusk in the center. We've got a Blood Speaker. Very interesting choice. He does have some abilities. He's got the Wild Abandon, Murderous Exhortations, and the Pilgrimage of Skulls. Yeah, we saw the Khorne Gores there getting shelled in the front line. He's got another one, Vanguard in the Woods there coming forward. Wrathmongers, Blood Beasts for discount Minotaurs. Blood Beasts basically are like discount Minotaurs now. A little bit faster and a little bit worse in a lot of ways, but Minotaurs also get their anti-large bonus. Yeah, let's get things rolling as these two armies clash in melee. Yeah. See the Thunder Tusks, or the Saber Tusks rather, running in. You got the Blood Beasts running in, both sides just escalating as far as side engagement pretty significantly. An absolute rain of daggers falling down on the Khorne units here as the Blood Speaker gets into the second level. He's gonna do some AoE damage with the Murderous Exhortations. Runs into the Pigback Riders. Honestly, not an amazing amount of damage. Let's actually see here on these Pigbacks, considering they really haven't taken damage from any other source except the Blood Speaker. Yeah, I mean, like 25% damage. It's not the worst, but it's not great, to be honest. We'll talk more about Khorne's composition later. But anyway, yeah, Karnak in here also. He's mixing it up with Scrag, silencing him, just dragging him down right now. Golgs Man-Eaters are trying to screen Karnak from Scrag, which they so far have been able to do for the most part, but it does look like he's still within range to silence that brass collar of bloody vengeance. That being said, the Pigbacks came in and just absolutely dominated those Minotaurs. The Khorne Gores also had a pretty hard time in that engagement. Now the Wrathmongers, 80 armor on them, pretty good. Will it be enough for the rear charge of the Pigbacks? Plus, obviously, Golgs Man-Eaters smashing them in the face. Not going to be a super comfortable situation, although Wrathmongers are very good. This is definitely a situation where they will get overwhelmed. Blood Speaker also there in the back line, not really doing a ton, but, you know, he's here. He's having a good time. Khorne Gores, not the best defensive stats, but they've been able to mix it up, rout off a few units. Blood Beasts also finishing the Lead Belchers here, getting those Saber Tusk back. The Lead Belchers actually might have got killed by something else, but that's okay. We do see a heal there. Troll Guts being dumped into the Thunder Tusk. Just going to take a few shots at some of these regrouped units, make sure they can't come back and fight. But Khorne, yeah, having a little bit of mobility issues here. The Pigbacks also get a really nice charge into these Blood Beasts in the open field. That anti-large bonus plus their charge bonus, you can see, just did a bunch of shock damage there. Blood Beasts will still punch back hard, but overall, Pigbacks should be able to carry that engagement. Karnak's going to pull up his summon here. Khorne feeling like they need some more units on the field. Probably a little late for that, but it's something. And Karnak struggling to get free here. He doesn't have the most mass or HP in the world. He doesn't do the most damage, but his ability kit is one of the most competitive. And we see him hunting down Scrag here, trying to get into combat. Scrag very wisely kind of charges the Minotaurs, who are in this blob of friendly units. And now he's got Pigbacks and Golds Man-Eaters. That being said, the Wrathmongers also, their Pilgrimage of Skulls being used on them to make them unbreakable briefly. Refresh their vigor, which is honestly not the best combination of abilities. Hits those Minotaurs too, I guess, which is nice. Yeah, Blood Speaker kind of making his presence felt a little bit here as he's able to stabilize the situation, come in and do some AoE damage. But the big old Thunder Tusk is still, like, basically undamaged at this point, and is definitely feeling pretty confident, so yeah, not looking good. Karnak takes a few swipes there. Scrag trying to punch back and win. Swings his pot around. He's got some cool animations. Unfortunately, he's just really, there's no reason to take him over the Slaughtermaster, in my opinion, but we'll talk about all that in just a second after we do this post-game analysis, relatively quick one you would expect on that map with these builds. That would probably be the outcome. But yeah, very interesting. I kind of expected the Khorne Gores to perform a little bit better, but I think they ended up just eating a lot of like shock damage and like range damage on the approach. Definitely not ideal. The Wrathmongers also, like the non-ROR version, I think is just straight up worse. The ROR, you do pay a little bit more for, but that explosion damage means even if they get into a situation like this where they're completely outmatched, which is pretty hard to do, granted, they still can perform decently well just by exploding their enemies. So yeah, like the Bloodspeaker also, we'll take a look at the cost with the horse and the abilities he had. He's probably expensive enough that you probably just want to take a Combat Lord instead. Yeah, it didn't generate a ton of value. Karnak, of course, is very strong, but just didn't have the best support in terms of this particular Khorne build. There are definitely some bright spots. Blood Beast's pretty solid. I might even just take them over Minotaurs right now, given how cost-effective they are. Hard to say in this matchup, though, against the Ogres. There's definitely some dangers. These Lead Belchers, even getting shut down, were able to do some good tactical damage. Gold's Man-Eaters also are a nice touch here for some elite anti-infantry punch. They've got a little bit more meat on them, pun intended, than a regular Ogre unit. And then, of course, Thunder Tusk is what it is. It's a very, very good unit. But, yeah, let's talk a little bit more about Khorne's composition. So, yeah, from the Wrathmonger perspective, it's not too much more. It's only another 250 points to take the Bloodwake Berserkers, and it's well worth it. Also helps your other units just deal more damage as well through the Sunder Armor. They explode, of course. That Bloodstorm definitely does help significantly. And then, yeah, I mean, the Khorne Gore is definitely a not very, very obvious one. Yeah, no Chaos Warrior Halberds there. Kind of makes sense to a degree. They do seem like they could potentially be vulnerable to the Lead Belchers for sure. But yeah, I'm just curious. The other thing too about the Wrathmongers, like if you're taking the Bloodwake Berserkers, you might even just want to go in another direction and say, let's take some mobile anti-large, also very elite, but actually does have direct anti-large and is mobile, like I said, over the Wrathmongers. Skull Crushers being another potential option you could take here, but one thing I did want to investigate here is the Bloodspeaker. Okay, on his horse. He did not have the heal. I don't think he had Gruesome Display. I don't remember. I remember these two for sure, or at least these three. 1,500, I mean, it's close enough, actually, in terms of cost of, like, a stripped-down, I guess Skull Taker's, what, 1,800 now? Yeah, Zarbal also 1,250? 1,650. Okay. So, interesting. Yeah, for some reason I was thinking they gave a cost reduction. Okay, yeah, there it is. I was putting it on the Blood Throne. So yeah, for 1,500, you can take a stripped-down Skull Taker, and he's gonna generate way more value than the Blood Speaker will. Both, I mean, even without any of his support abilities, to be honest, just through his own sheer power as a single entity, he's just way better all the way around and has way more potential. I'm really not, as more time goes on, I'm really not biggest fan of the Blood Speaker's abilities. Like, they're fun, they're cool, they don't really impact the battle enough to make him a really viable choice in my mind. Like, definitely a fun choice for sure, but again, similar cost. You could just take a stripped down like Skull Taker. You could even do like the Herald also on the Juggernaut is a much better option now. I haven't seen a bunch of people taking him, but he's got Tormentor Sword, he's got Revel in Slaughter, so already you've got better support abilities, in my opinion, much better support abilities than what the Bloodspeaker has access to, just in those two. And you're only 50 points more expensive, right? So, again, definitely would question the Lord composition a little bit in that build, but the fact that both these guys do synergize, the Combat Lords, that is, synergize so well with Karnak, it's definitely something you would want to consider. Karnak's also one of those that you really got to be super, like, choosy about what you bring. Generally, this Talons of the Skull Throne, Foe Seeker are things you might want to cut because he's already pretty expensive. I mean, this is 3,000 points worth of horse character, basically, which is a lot. I mean, maybe you want to add Karnak's Howl if you have an extra 200 points and you want to pad out your roster a little bit. But just because I'm going full theory crafting today, let's go all in. I actually should probably put the unit caps on for this. But if you did something like this feels a little bit silly, to be honest. Yeah, it feels kind of uninteractive, so maybe I'd actually come in here and take some, like, mobile anti-large, or, like I said before, maybe you go with, like, some Blood Beasts here. They seem reasonably cost-effective, but I don't know. I'm not a Khorne expert by any means, but I would say even just going relatively cheap on leadership, maybe even cheaper than this, and just going like all, you know, anti-large infantry, could definitely give Ogres some problems. But like here, you've got a little bit of ability to try and at least, you know, interrupt and disrupt lead belchers. You've got plenty of anti-large, just meat to try and fight. A couple of good mobile characters to run around and try and snipe casters, do various things. I don't know. You guys will have to let me know what you think in the comments down below. Hopefully you enjoyed this. If you like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button. Every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.